As they continue to look for a cause for these two crashes, the one in Ethiopia and then the one last year with Lion Air, no definitive cause has been reached for those accidents, though clear similarities were established by the Ethiopian transport minister after looking at the data from the black boxes. So as Boeing is trying to work its way through this investigation, work towards a software solution for the 737 MAXs as they try to get these 370 MAXs that are grounded back in the air as quickly as possible. CEO Dennis Muhlenberg out with a note late yesterday and a video message essentially saying, look, safety is the top priority for Boeing.
The investigation is moving forward, with work underway to understand the information from the airplane's cockpit voice and flight data recorders. Our team is on site with investigators to share technical expertise. Soon, we'll release a software update for the 737 MAX that will address concerns discovered in the aftermath of the Lion Air Flight 610 accident.
As you take a look at shares of Boeing, man, it has been rough over the last week and 1 day, as the shares are now trading down at 371. Argus out with a note this morning lowering its rating of Boeing to a hold, and it says the earnings forecast, in the opinion of Argus, are likely to decline. Also making note in the note, which I'm looking at right here, the Argus note says that Boeing's management has not been particularly proactive in its response. Sure, Boeing's management would disagree, and that's part of that message, guys. They're trying to change the narrative, if you will, in terms of saying, look, we don't know how long this grounding is going to last, but we believe that we can find a solution as quickly as possible. Let's see if there's any, if that builds a bit of a floor there in shares of Boeing and gives some Boeing investors a little bit of, I don't know if relief's the right word, but a little bit of hope that perhaps they've seen the worst.
Phil, did Argus go into specifics about what they would like to see Boeing do in terms of a response?
They did not. And so what you're looking at here, and I'm not sure anybody's really sure what the actual response should be, partially because, Becky, they're still searching for they're looking for the definitive cause. And that's why when you talk with people in the aviation community, whether it's on the safety side or it's people who are flying these planes, everybody says the same thing. You've got to find that root cause. Once you find that, then you've got a path out. Until you find that, it's a lot of, well, we're working on a software solution that we believe will fix some of the concerns from the Lion Air crash, and that may be the case. But is that going to be enough for the FAA to say, yeah, okay, we think this software fix is enough once it's actually rolled out to put these planes back in the air? That's likely, it's a little too hard to say at this point.
Hey, Phil, I know that we're not experts on this stuff, and it's hard to tell, but if you're trying to figure out how long before we might have answers to this, I mean, we still don't have answers from Lion Air yet, and that was, what, 5 months ago?
Right. Well, they haven't released the final report. They have early initial impressions from the flight data recorder, but they have not released a final report. And that's the key. You've got to see the final report where they say, look, we're almost certain that this was the cause of the accident, and then you can do some comparison with the data from Ethiopia. Becky, most people believe that it's going to be a grounding that lasts well over a month, if not a couple of months, 3 months. Now, that depends. I mean, it could change. It could be that this software fix that the regulators, the FAA, the NTSB, everybody looks at it and says, yeah, that's enough. We can get it back in the air. But most believe you've got to find that
When they grounded
cause.
the Dreamliner, Phil, I mean, that was 3 months, right? And they knew exactly what the problem was.
Correct.
And there were no fatalities involved. And so this seems like a totally different story, I mean, in terms of the length of a potential grounding on this one.
Right. If you look at the roadmap of the Dreamliner, they knew exactly what was the problem, and then they could fix it and find a solution there. They have suspicions, and they believe that there are some issues relative to MCAS from the Lion Air crash. Now, is that going to be enough for regulators to say, okay, yeah, we think that it's time to put the 737 MAX back in the air? I mean, I'm not going to prejudge there, but I think a lot of people are looking at this saying, no, we need to see a little bit more.